Right, welcome back. Part 5, heat shields. Going to crack on today. I'm going to drill some holes in the bottom ones after all. I think they'll match the top ones and it'll look more of a complete job. So I'm going to do that first, then just clean them off a little bit and then put the final paint on. Just going to give them 6 good thick coats of the heat paint because I know I don't really have to prepare much for it. That stuff is rather amazing. You just pile it on and obviously carefully not so it runs, but you pile it on, let it dry for 2 days, cure it with the blow lamp and it's done. So first of all, stick the bottom shield on the bike with the top shield offered up so I can mark where they're going to be, and I'm going to lob 4 holes in the bottom shield underneath the top shield so that they correspond kind of at an angle. You'll see. Stick around, stay tuned. We'll see what happens. Alright, the rushing noise by the way is the heater. I've just got that blasting away. It's about 10 degrees outside. I want about another 5 degrees in here, get it up to about 15 before I can lay the paint on. Stops it blooming. You can already see, although this isn't 6 coats, I don't know whether it shows up in the video, but I can see that this mat is a greyer, dustier finish than this mat. Now it could just be that's got 6, 7 coats on and it's fully cured, and that isn't, but that's definitely not matching at all, and it's the same material, exactly the same paint. In fact, the top one's out the same can, so it just needs more paint on it and it needs it in a warmer environment. Anyway, there's them 2 on. I'll pop this one on. Just using a bit of tape. Just to hold it into place until it's stuck. Goes that way on. Tail towards the back. Just literally gonna try and correspond the holes on the bottom one so that it just gets the best visual effect. Right, now obviously 4 holes in the bottom one. To be honest, they need to be towards the upper. They can't be dead on the side. I think if they're slightly towards the upper, then they'll look better. You'll be able to see them more from above, and obviously that heat shield there sits towards the upper, so we'll do the same thing. Little pencil. Alright, best way to do this . Now I'm reckoning on about 45-degree angle to bring them on. Only approximately, it doesn't have to be exact. So the first one about there, which is roughly a 45-degree angle, it's not that important. And they are, as I remember, 75mm centres, I think. Yeah. So all I've got to do is come 75mm forward of that one, then 75, and so on. And that will give me the right bond, as it were. One. They'll be the same size, same distance apart, just 45 degrees in front each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Like a lot of these things, you can measure it all if you like, but by eye is often the best measure. What looks right generally is right. So let's take it off, drill some holes in it. Okay, much deliberation. There goes nothing. Can't stress enough, if you're going to centre punch anything, just one hit. Don't go tappity tap tapping it. You will bugger it up. Right, I'm going to pilot drill these purely because I want to give the old cone cutters a bit of a break. So I'm just going to pilot them out as far as I can to about 8mm before I pop the hole cutter through it. Keep everything nice and cool. Doesn't burn anything. Right, that's 4mm. Just take them out 2mm at a time. Easiest to do it on this way and just stand on it. And it's also a good test for the old paint, because I'm going to sand this down and repaint it. It just doesn't mark. Stuff is so tough. Right, 6mm. Okay, 8mm. Get them out as big as you can before you get the hole cutters involved. Keeps everything nice and cool. Right, now the smallest cone first. Let's work with them. Take it out to 12mm. So try and gently stand on these so they don't move, because this has a habit of catching hold of the sheet metal and just grabbing it. There we go. Right angle. Okay. That's right, that step, just clean it. That's it, and one more. Just make sure they're all nice and smooth, no burrs in them. There's a little one there. That's it. Here we are, 22. But I think that size is enough. That's good enough. That'll do for now. I think just canting them forward a little bit. I reduced the angle just a little bit to a little bit less. It's slightly more upright, but still got a forward slant, and that's to follow this frame tube. Look at that frame tube down the back, and they're following almost perfectly the same line. So a little bit of symmetry going on. All we've got to do is clean that up, get the burrs off. There's a little burr on that one, so a little bit of grindage. Get all these nice and smooth, and then I'm ready to start painting. There we go. Now, because this stuff seems remarkably robust, doesn't show any marks, I'm not going to worry too much about the sanding process. I'm just going to take out the worst. But what's stunning is how tough this stuff is. I've been mauling this about for an hour now, and it is almost indestructible, this paint, and that's good news because it means that long term it will last. And that's just 3 lousy coats. They weren't even a proper coat. I just didn't lay them up properly, didn't lay them up thick, just got them on there. All I'm doing now is feathering out the edges of where I've cut into it and keying up the surface. It's not too hard. I mean, bear in mind this is uncured. All I've done is let this dry for 4 days. Once it's baked and blasted on with a blow lamp, it'll be even harder, and that's brilliant. Unbelievably good. Sometimes in this life you get lucky with a product, and I just think that I can see myself using an awful lot of this heat paint, even for non-hot lube, situations. Locations where you need a tough, hard paint like a powder coat, but you perhaps haven't got the inclination to go and get stuff powder coated, which I don't. Just don't have the time to go to the powder coaters or to the sandblasters. I'll be bothered with it, or I just do it here. Be careful this time to get all the burrs off completely. Don't want to revisit this anymore. This is final paint. Right, I'm going to clean them and them. Other ones on the bike. Right, let's get everything ready to paint. Right, first dust coat. Just to introduce the chemicals to each other again. Actually, am I turning it off? Enough of that noise. Just a little dust over. And in this case, you're putting whatever the thinners or chemical that's inside as a carrying medium for the paint. We're introducing it back to the surface, and it's going to melt it. You put thinners on a paint surface, it melts the paint off. So when you put paint onto existing paint that's already there, first thing it does is it makes the surface all tacky. So you're making like a tack coat to start with. So if you lay too much on to start with, the problem starts to react. Just literally covering up the little bits of bare metal. Now I need 6 good beefy coats this time, because this is the final paint. Right, that's the first coat, I reckon. Just a thin once over to introduce it back on. A few little marks, as you can see, but they will disappear. So that's a 14 centigrade in here now, so it should avoid any bloomage. Beautiful bloomage. And this time it's a proper coat. Right, there we are. That's one good heavy coat over the lot, and the nicest thing is that is matting out while I'm getting to this side of it. They're matting out that I've just done, so it's definitely the right temperature now, and I will be avoiding, thankfully, any more bloom in the finish and get them nice and black like the others. Right, now this time I'm going to give them a full 15 minutes curing time. So that's all from me. Do that again. There we go, clean the tube out. I'm going to leave that there on top of the heater. It's not switched on. Going to leave the heater running in here to keep the temperature up. Go make a cup of tea. See you in a minute. Alright, coat number 2. And that'll be the end of this tin. There's a little bit left. I'll use it up on this coat. Here we go. If you want to get painting yourself, if you want to do any painting on your bike or anything, get yourself an old bike, old tank, old side panel, something with lots of curves in it, because that's what really gives you some good practice. And just practice, rub it down, paint it different colours. Go and get some cheap paints from the market. Which way, that way. No matter what the paint is, the practice is about laying on the material, using the paint, using the can, the action of moving the can backwards and forwards. It's totally different to a spray gun. Spray guns are a completely different discipline. Obviously professional kit. If you want to go investing and all that, you can do. It's cool. If you want to just get practicing with a few rattle cans, it's brilliant fun. Doesn't cost a lot of money. I go to a surplus store and I can get tins of primer there for £1. Big 500ml tin. And one of the best materials to practice your painting action with is primer, because it's very forgiving. It lays on, it barely runs, it's good stuff. You can rub it back, and it is. Oh, fucking hell. Don't kick the bench when you're painting either. You know. Bit of a poo panter there. God, dear, horror. Wouldn't be the first time I've kicked a paint job over during laying up the paint. Right. Right, that tin's almost out, and it's kind of. Oh, it's all right. It might. When you get to the end of a can, they can sometimes spit and trash the paint job. So don't risk it. Just that's it. That'll do. That's it. That's dead. Right. That's 2 coats. I've got one can left. And I'm going to give 4 more coats on that when I come back in the next 15 minutes. Right. Coat number 3. New can always fires better as well. That's it. Clear the can. Right. Number 3. Heater back on. Okay. Penultimate coat. 2 more to go. Right, time for the last coat. see what it looks like. Shut the door, keep the warming, and the heater off. Right, what temperature we got now? That's getting better. 15 and a bit. Okay, that's warm enough now. That's warm enough to avoid the bloom anyway. Alright, let's put you down there. Okay, this is coat number 6. There we go. Let's get this last one on with no issues. I've warmed the can up on this one, incidentally, this last coat, just to get a good pressure coming out of the can. Obviously you get a fixed amount of pressure, it's not like a spray gun. And as I've done before, I just do 2 layers over each piece. As the can runs out, then you keep the pressure the same. You get the same atomization. Now there's little bits of trash in this, bits of hair and fluff, but it's proved itself already, this stuff, that it doesn't really need to be treated like regular paint. This is the last coat. I'm just going to push my luck a little bit, get it nice and wet, and look forward hopefully to a really good finish when it's done. I'm going to push it right to the point of running. Nice wet coat, got the temperature correcting here. Well, better than it is on the side anyway. Where is it? That's the top. It gets rubbed on this back corner a lot. So put lots on there. Great thing with this stuff, it mats out while you're watching. Literally, while I'm painting this, it's matting out. It shows it's reacting correctly. And there we are. That, I reckon, is it. And as I've said before, know when to walk away. Don't just keep laying paint on. More is definitely not better. I'm not to breathe on it too much. Well, I should have a mask on. One more on that top one. Right, pushing my luck now, so I think that'll do. One more on that. Right, that's it. That's the last word to the top shield. That's it, that's it, that's it. Clear the can. Right, that'll do. Right, that's it. I don't want to push my luck anymore. I tried to say that before, to be honest. If you just keep going, it looks better and better, and suddenly it's run. So I'm going to leave it at that. Looks good. Now, I'm going to leave that for 2 days. It's Friday now. It's 3:15 in the afternoon. I'll leave that for 48 hours. So Sunday afternoon I'm going to revisit this. Hopefully it'll be dry enough. I'm going to hang it up then with some metal wire. Basically use MIG wire. Hang it up, and I'm going to blow lamp it from the back in order to cure that paint off if it's dry enough. So there we go. No point in chatting on. Battery's about to go on the camera as well, so I'll finish for the day. Thanks for tuning in and watching number 5. Number 5? Yeah, number 5. Well, got done quicker than I thought. The next thing after this, once it's all cured, is the mesh, and I am glad about the holes in the bottom shield. I just wanted some time to think about it. As I said before, you can't undrill a hole, so I wanted the time to get it done. and the time to make sure that I was happy with it, and I am. I like that bottom shield drilled, and when it's on, I'll show you what I mean, it will look really good. Okay, there you go. Thanks for tuning in to Delboy's Garage. This has been number 5 heat shields. Ride safe. See you next time.